Women are nothing but machines for producing children. Napoleon Bonaparte. Sounds like the rant of a bitter misogynist, right? The kind of quote that gets you canceled in 2 clicks. But what if it wasn't hate talking? What if it was the most brutal, honest observation a man ever made about love and destiny? What if the problem isn't his cruelty, but her inability to stand in the fire he walks through every single day? On the surface, it's absurd. Who wouldn't want a man of power? Ambition? Dominance? Every woman's dream, they say. But greatness has a price most never see. Great men aren't present, they're consumed, totally and utterly consumed. Consumed by war, by strategy, by the vision burning a hole in their skull. And in that chase, there's no room left. No room for emotional maintenance. No time for constant reassurance. No desire to be tamed, to be leashed by someone's insecurity. Napoleon knew this truth not as a theorist, but as a lover. His letters to Josephine were raw, desperate, pathetic, and they were met with ice, with the cold, sharp steel of betrayal. While he conquered Europe, she conquered his dignity, and in that moment, the veil tore. He saw it clearly. Not all women want a great man. Most are terrified of him. Why? Because greatness doesn't orbit her. It doesn't submit to her moods or bow to her expectations. Greatness is demanding, volatile. It's a storm, not a lullaby. And storms don't ask permission to destroy your comfort zone, so they choose the alternative, the safe bet, the man who asks nothing and gives everything, the mediocre one. A mediocre man asks no questions you can't answer, fights no wars you can't win. His whole life revolves around her comfort. He is soft, available, dependent. His identity is her shadow, and that is dangerously appealing, not for who he is, but for what he lacks. He lacks the danger of abandonment, the threat of a mission bigger than her. Napoleon saw this clearly. Women are machines for producing children. Not hate, math, a cold imperial calculation. He reduced them to biology because, in his experience, most didn't rise beyond it. They didn't understand the storms in a man's heart, the fire that burns when you refuse to live small. He wasn't trying to win affection anymore. He wanted to conquer truth, even if it hurt, especially if it hurt. And the truth he saw? The higher a man climbs, the more he walks alone, not by choice, by necessity. Comfort and warmth can't follow you into the fire. They burn up. Emotional dependency is fuel for the flames. Look around. We live in a world that loves excellence as entertainment, as long as it's convenient and pretty. But a man with real vision, he terrifies people, especially in relationships. He disrupts the comfort of the crowd. Napoleon understood this in his marrow. He was a god of war, a master of momentum, and still, he begged. He wrote desperate letters, begging Josephine not to betray him. She did anyway. Why? Because power doesn't seduce the heart the way predictability does. It may win battles, but rarely emotional loyalty. Women, even those surrounded by greatness, often choose the devil they know. Companionship over conquest. Think that's changed? The modern man grinds, levels up, builds an empire from his laptop. He thinks success will finally make him loved. Napoleon would laugh, bitterly, because the more exceptional you become, the less lovable you appear to those who crave stability over struggle. This is why women subconsciously gravitate to men beneath them, controllable men, grateful men, men who don't make waves, who don't disappear into obsession, who don't sacrifice today for a future only they see. These men don't challenge, they orbit, and to be the center of someone's universe, that's intoxicating. But for the man chasing greatness, that kind of devotion is rare, almost impossible. He doesn't orbit, he ascends. And in doing so, he threatens the very foundation of modern love, comfort. He becomes a force, not a partner. Napoleon lived this. The man who commanded armies was seen as cold, distant, too focused. But how else do you build an empire? How else do you carve your name into history? Not by whispering sweet nothings. You do it by becoming more than a man, and in that transformation, you become less of a partner. It's the trade. So, what will it be? Comfort or legacy? Napoleon already knew the answer. Most choose the warm blanket. Every man who has tasted the bitter fruit of betrayal knows this. You give everything to a vision, and you come home to find yourself resented for it. Not admired. Resented. Because your greatness reminds her of her mediocrity. Your focus becomes distance. Your ambition becomes arrogance. Your silence becomes emotional absence. But men like Napoleon weren't born to coddle. They were born to lead, to forge, to dominate. And that kind of man is incompatible with the emotional script modern relationships demand. He's a different OS. Napoleon didn't hate women. He simply saw the truth. What a woman says she wants versus what she chooses. She admires ambition in theory, but she marries convenience in practice. She praises the lion and builds a home with the sheep. And if you think love protects you from this truth, look around. Why do brilliant self-made men get abandoned? Because love without understanding is a ticking clock, and they don't understand the cost, the sleepless nights, the grind. They see the result, the car, the apartment, the status, but not the war behind it. And when that war never ends, when you keep climbing, they resent the fire they once admired. This is why Napoleon spoke with indifference. He tried romantic idealism. It failed, not because he couldn't love, because love couldn't keep pace with his destiny. It was too slow, too needy, too small. And when a man chooses destiny over domesticity, he must choose loneliness. That's the ancient trade. Power or peace, rarely both. You can have her heart or the world, not both. And those who try to walk the middle path, they get torn apart, every single time. So the great man walks alone, not because he wants to, because he outgrows what the world offers in return. The higher he climbs, the fewer understand the air he breathes. Women want to be seen, heard, held. But a man consumed by mission has no time for emotional validation. He's not cold by nature, he's hardened by purpose. Society demonizes him. He's toxic, he's unavailable. Of course he's unavailable. He's making history. Napoleon was demonized too, for his ambition, his ego. But at the heart, he was punished for refusing to kneel. He wouldn't kneel to love, to comfort, to tradition. And in the end, even the emperor is abandoned. Even the lion dies alone. The ones he fought to protect couldn't stand the heat. Here's the final truth, the one no one says aloud. A man must choose, empire or nest, legacy or warmth. Mediocre men are loved, praised, remembered as good. They get the funeral with real tears. But the great men, lonely, misunderstood, exiled, they carve their names into time. So if you're chasing truth, chasing greatness, prepare to be unloved, prepare to be doubted, left, because you're not safe, and that makes you dangerous. But never forget, the world bows to danger. But maybe you're still asking, why? Why reject the man who moves mountains? Because great men are mirrors. They reflect everything others are not. Their ambition reveals complacency. Their silence reveals insecurity. Their solitude exposes dependency. And for most people, that mirror is unbearable. To be with a man who needs nothing emotionally, who doesn't seek your approval, that's not romantic. It's terrifying. It means you can't control him, can't seduce him with softness or hostage him with affection. You follow or get left. And women don't like that gamble. They choose emotional leverage. A man who can be molded, who stays when she cries, who pauses his life for her doubts, who makes her the axis of his world. But the great man doesn't pause. He builds and bleeds for it. His heart is disciplined. Love is not his mission, and that makes him unreachable. She's not looking to walk beside a titan. She wants a companion who feels safe. She settles upward in appearance, but downward in essence. He looks like a man, but inside he's soft clay, and she will never truly admire him. She may love, cling, marry, but deep down, she knows she didn't choose a king. So don't envy the mediocre man. Pity him, loved but never respected, never truly followed. You were never meant to be loved like the rest. Your life is a storm, not a lullaby. You were built for purpose. If this hit home, like, share, and subscribe. Join the membership. Truth isn't meant to be comfortable. It's meant to set you free. Cheers.